Hello everyone and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. My name is SmoothOperative and I will be taking over hosting duties for the rest of the evening. If you just got here, you are tuning into the Frame Fatale's Game of the Month celebration, so welcome. And if you are not sure what it's all about, well then let me tell you. The Frame Fatales are celebrating women in gaming, camaraderie, and friendship with our Game of the Month mini marathon today, March 26th, and tomorrow, March 27th. Every month, the Frame Fatales community picks a game to learn and speedrun together, and we are bringing you a snapshot of what we've been playing over the past few years. The Frame Fatales Game of the Month program began in September 2019 with Pokemon Snap as a way for women of the speedrunning community to share their knowledge and learn new games together. Each month, our server members nominate games and vote on which will be the next to speedrun. So if you are a woman and would like to join our Game of the Month activities, feel free to DM the Frame Fatales Twitter account. We would love to have you. But with that, I am pleased to introduce our runner for Celeste. That is Carrarium. Welcome. How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Perfect. I'm getting comfy in my chair. Shout outs to Cutie Roo for holding it down for the day shift. So I'm ready to get into the night shift, you know?
Oh yeah. I have been lurking in the shadows doing a lot of practice. Yes. And I'm excited. I'm excited to show this off. It's my favorite game.
Perfect. So I understand you are doing the any percent category. So whenever you feel comfortable, you can count us down.
Sounds good. All right. I'm going to roll up my sleeves because for some reason that's going to make me think that this is going to go better.
It's time to get to work, you know?
Yeah, this is just it's just tricking myself into getting a better run. Yeah, so we're going to do some any percent. We're just going to get to the end of, we're going to get to Summit, which is typically how this goes. We unlock epilogue from a new file. So we're only going to see 7 levels. Well, technically 9, but we won't get into that. But yeah, I am ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, let's go. Good luck.
Thank you. So this is Celeste. Many of you have probably seen it before. Wonderful 2D platforming game from Extremely OK Games. So it starts off in Prologue. And in Prologue, we don't have our main mechanic, which is dashing. So I'm just doing all these little bunny hops. Each bunny hop saves 2 frames. And I'm gonna just get across this bridge. Skip a cutscene. Easy peasy. Done and done.
You can do this.
You can do this. I loved that when I first played this game. I was like, that's such a good message.
It's like motivation for the speedrun too.
Absolutely. Until it like doesn't go well and then you just go, yeah, I know.
I know game, okay?
So we're gonna be in Forsaken City. It is the most run IL in Celeste by like a country mile. It is thousands of IL speedruns. It's about less than a minute. You'll see why. I'm utilizing all of these wall boosts. You can kick off of the wall with upward momentum from your dash. And yeah, there's not gonna be too much to say about it by the time that by the time I'm out of here. You are gonna see me. Oop, I didn't get an extension there. You are going to see me enter this room, this checkpoint called Chasm, and do what's called a hyper bunny hop. That gives me a lot of height and a lot of speed to go over that gap. Oh, no. No. There we go. And right here, you're going to see me do what's called a corner boost. It's almost like a hurdle. Madeline hurdles over this corner and gets her a little bit of extra speed. We finish city just over a minute. Very easy reset point, but when you get it going, it's a really, really, really fun chapter to play. So we will be moving on to Old Site, which is another fairly quick level. This one's just under 2 minutes. This one utilizes a mechanic called Dream Blocks. It's basically space jelly. You're gonna notice that Madeline's falling really fast here. To do that, I actually have a button set to down on gameplay. It's my left trigger button on my controller. Here I'm gonna skip cutscene while I'm on the appropriate Y-axis of that Dream Block. And it spawns me in that dream block as opposed to being underneath it, which is where you would be in the usual cutscene. And it saves like less than a second. But a less than a second is a lot in this speedrun. And here we meet Badeline. In the game, she's actually called a part of you. She says, listen, this is just how I look. I'm a part of you. But we call her Badeline because it's funny.
I like it.
Yeah, and she's going to be chasing us around, following. She literally copies your every move. So as long as you're moving forward, there's really no major issues in this section. Like if I just don't do that, I'm going to skip this spring. It's just a little bit faster. Exiting these dream blocks gives you another dash. Oh my God, that was so close. And surprise, there's a little secret exit right there. Dave's going around. Okay, so we've escaped the battle and fight. She's gonna laugh at us up from the ledge, but we don't stick around long enough for her to see us. And spoilers, which leads us to a wake checkpoint. This checkpoint is just about like 12 seconds long, so we're just gonna breeze through it. I use what are called demo hypers and ultras to get through this area really fast, except if you hit that spring, in which case it eats all your speed. Springs make a fun noise, but they are not fun in speedruns. I'll go a little bit more into demo hypers later because I'm going to be doing a demo dash and resort, and it will all tie together.
Nice. Okay. We'll be expecting that.
So this is the resort level. This level is pretty notoriously hard as you enter the speed run. You find ways to get better at it, and it actually becomes a pretty fun IL. Here we're going to collect one of 4 berries in the run. It's not mandatory, it's just one that's kind of hard to avoid based on strats. And here I'm going to be grabbing a key, and I'm going to try throughout this level to get good key cycles. Depending on which direction the key is facing when I get to a door, the door might actually open faster, and it saves just a little bit of time in that regard. All right, I'm gonna do a little funky strat right here that I will not be able to explain. Nice. Basically just went under that platform and bonked my head against it, hit a spring, went fast.
The style points strat.
Yeah, it is faster than like some other strats that you can do in that room, but it also just looks funny and I like doing it. So this is Huge Mess. This is the Huge Mess checkpoint. It is separated into 3 sections. It is chests, books, and towels, and that is the order in which we are going to go in. It is the most optimal for any percent. It's designed a little bit after the Switch Palaces in Super Mario World. That is confirmed by Matty Thorson. Except whereas in Super Mario World, if you hit a button, you get blocks that help you. When you hit these blocks, things go away, and it makes the rest of the sections a lot harder. You have to talk to Oshiro after each visit. So this is part of the reason why it's the most optimal route. It's just fast ways to talk to Oshiro and avoid going through the hub room. Okay. That section can actually be really difficult. So for instance, if you leave books from here, Oshiro is right here. And it's just that's the fastest way that you could talk to the guy. That's Theo. We meet Theo in our travels, but we don't talk to him too much during this run. But he is going to be important at some point. And here in towels, I'm just going to do a quick hyper underneath that dust bunny. If I were to die in some of these rooms, the dust bunnies actually would have a different cycle upon my death reanimation. So in Celeste speedrunning, it's actually really helpful to know both the cycle for when you enter alive and the cycle when you enter upon death. Oh God.
So the death cycle is always the same?
The death cycle will always be the same. It's just different from the first cycle when you enter a room. And if you are able to exit a room and re-enter, then that'll reset the quote-unquote life cycle. But if you were to just continue in the room, like this room, the door closed up behind me, so I will always have the death cycle if I were to die.
Oh, okay, nice.
And this is the demo dash, which I'm just gonna kind of do. So a demo dash, I have time to talk about that. It's called a crouch dash in game, and it is a dash in which Madeline's hitbox is 4 pixels as opposed to 9. And that gives Madeline the opportunity to go through some really funky areas in the wall. Now, that setup that I do is based on 2 pixels. Oh God, Oshiro, no! So I believe if I have my numbers right, doing that setup gives me 2 3-frame windows in which I can hit that trick. I was going to die if I went down there. So this is Oshiro. He's the owner of the hotel, and we said some things that made him mad, so now he's trying to hurt us. This is great. I accidentally hit triangle on my DS4, which is my pause button. And I don't pause there.
Gotta adjust on the fly.
I'm just very lucky that I still have that cycle. It doesn't continue if you're paused, but I just had to be sure that I was doing the right inputs once I unpaused. That's a hard level. That is always a heartbeater of a level. But it's okay, because we're going into a harder level, which is Ridge, and it has wind. Wind is going to push you back or down or up, depending on which direction it's going. But the good thing is that wind doesn't necessarily affect your dash speed. So I can still go nice and fast if I collect speed through various means. And if you've ever played Celeste casually, you'll probably be wondering, Carrie, how did you just go through all those bubbles that fast? And it's a great question. The answer is if you press dash as soon as you enter a bubble, you actually just activate the bubble animation faster. And that is a trick that we call Archie. So I entered that particular bubble with a crouch dash, shortened hitbox, and it raised the bubble up a little bit, which gave me just enough space to do an upright dash to get to that one touch switch. If I were to just do that without it, I would die to spikes. Hopefully this works. So don't blink. Cool. That's a strat called Ceiling Pop. And that is the most complicated strat I could ever discuss on this channel. Basically, when I pop Madeline into that corner, I'm resetting her subpixels, which is positioning shorter than a pixel, so that when I do a grab on the wall underneath it, I'm basically actually grabbing the wall from underneath it. And it gives me just enough height and distance to do a little corner kick at the end. And it saves a couple of seconds over just taking the block. But it's a 4-frame window with a diagonal crouch dash, so it's very hard. Here we're gonna wait for this block. So the casual strat is to get that coin up there, but it's slow. And with a well-timed ultra, hello, I just overshot that by a mile. You can just go over that touch switch box, and it saves a couple of seconds. It's quite significant. And with that, we're in Cliff Face. This is the windiest section of the mountain, and there's snowballs. We don't know who's throwing these snowballs. We still don't know the lore behind that. Here, I'm gonna skip the first 2 springs just with a lot of speed. And here, I'm gonna try to get to here so I can bounce off that snowball at the end. Trying not to jinx myself because this is actually a good IL. IL stands for individual level, if people are wondering what IL stands for. And that is a 244 ridge, which is actually 5 seconds off of my PB.
Pretty nice.
Not bad. We take those.
Yes, we take those.
We take those. I hope you're keeping track, because this is really... This game is not easy to talk about at this speed. It's very quick. Temple. Temple is one of two possible levels that you can do in Celeste speedrunning, where playing the B side to a chapter is actually faster than completing the A side. It was a developer oversight on release. The developers did not know that if you beat a B side before beating the A side, that you'd still unlock the next chapter, but they thought it was cool, so they kept it anyway. So what you're gonna see me do in the next two levels is go collect a cassette and go into the chapter's B side. And if I play things right, I'll save time overdoing the rest of these two chapters' A sides. Here's a strat called Depth's Corner Boost. Hopefully I get it. I got a pretty bad version of that. But you see the idea of what that's supposed to be. I'm getting a very additive / maybe multiplicative boost off of that block, and then doing one of those corner boost hurdles at the end of the room. And if I had done it right, then I would have gone all the way through that room without having to use that block. Nice. Now there, on that pink rhythm block, I did 3 down dashes. The reason behind those is that the cassette rooms, the rhythm blocks in those rooms are on a global cycle. They will always keep going. So if you're in a cycle that needs to be, that you can't cycle skip, dashing down actually saves 3 frames because it pauses the in-game timer. So doing those 3 dashes down on the block saves 9 frames for me, because I wouldn't be able to beat that cycle otherwise. Okay, let's see if I can get the fun strat. Nope, bad. So that strat is Bub's Drop. So there is a one-way at the top of that room, and it's a 2-frame window. And if you kick off the wall within that 2-frame window, you actually don't reach that one way. You fall back into this room, at which point I can retry and spawn here to this next room, and it saves 20 seconds. But it is a 2-frame window, and it's very hard, and I don't do it with pauses, because unfortunately I'm not a fan of pause buffering. Personal choice, to each their own. You could return to map and start the chapter over again, but in a live setting, I'll just take the bubble. The bubble's fun. And Bub's Drop is named after Bubbai, the former All Red Berries world record holder for Celeste. Here I'm going to do 2 up demos into bubbles. That gives that dash to the end of this room is actually a 3-frame window. If you do up demos into those bubbles, it becomes a 5-frame window due to corner correction. So, oh no! Uh-oh. I never like dying in this room. This room has a tendency to be a death loop. So if you hit the Seeker up there from the top, that Seeker will help you get that key coin on the bottom, and we call that strat High Ruxton, named after the messenger. And here I'm going to use a boost off of this Seeker to go to this block, and then kick off the corner of that block to exit the room. And it saves using all of those pillars to begin with. And now we've met Theo. Theo is in a crystal. How did he get in that crystal? Who's to say? But it's our job to help him get out. And these gold doors can only open if we have Theo with us. This room is called the Gauntlet Room. There are 4 Seekers. Uh-oh. This is fine, actually, if I just dash now. It's 4 Seekers back to back to back to back, and there's no respawn points in that room outside of the beginning. So if you die in there at all, it's bad.
Ooh, yeah, tough.
This room is clearly impossible. Uh-oh. This is fine. Oh, that's fine. Okay. 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 That was not planned.
There's always got to be one moment like that.
This game is so reflex heavy. I'll just say it. That's never happened to me before. In that room, that's never happened. There's a lot of ways in which that game can mess you up, but in that room, I was not expecting that. All right, so here we have Reflection. Reflection's key mechanics are Kevin blocks, feathers, and bumpers. Here I'm going to do a strat called Lake Skip, where I wall bounce off of 2 pixels right underneath those spikes, and skip going to the right side to hit a Kevin block. I use my analog stick to use these feathers. You can use keyboard or D-pad, but they're not as good with 360 as opposed to an analog stick. But a lot of top runners have no issues with them on keyboard. All right, here I'm going to try to get the cassette. If I do things right, I'm going to go very fast. I did go very fast, but I didn't do it in the way that I wanted to. So I was attempting a strat there called Scott's Sensibility, Scott being Evan's fight of the Celeste speedrunning community. And what I'm trying to do is a small hyper dash, which is a down, right, dash, and jump off of that block. And I get a lot of speed off of that block. And then just with some appropriately timed bunny hops, I can basically get all the way over to the cassette. The problem was the speed can be very varying a lot. You kind of just don't really know until you enter that room. And I missed. There's really nothing else to it. I just missed. Now in 6B, you're going to see a lot of bumpers. In the recent patch to Celeste, there was a 1.4 patch. There was leniency added to these bumpers. As if you're holding the opposite direction of the direction that you hit the bumper in, you get a speed boost. Can I? No, I cannot. I'm gonna go back in this room and reset. No! Bad direction. I will just back this up in whatever way that I think that I can. Okay, there we go. You'll see them later in this level as well. But when I hit a bumper to the right, going left, if I hold right on the right frame, or 2, or however much the leniency was, I go really fast in the opposite direction. Okay, cool. So this section's the falling section. It's a bunch of rooms where you just kind of fall. It was originally intended to be in the A side of this chapter. Beta testers found it to be a bit too hard, so they got added to the B sides, which are harder variants, as we can see. Here I'm actually going to do, you can actually do some hyper dashes underwater. So if I hold my fast fall button and I'm in the water, I will essentially hit the ground, and then I can do like hyper dashes and other dashes. The intended strat in that room is to hit the Kevin from the top. I hit it from the side. If you get your dash refreshed and dash at the right time, you kind of skip that spot entirely. All right, and I have another 2-frame demo coming up. Let's see if I get it. Of course. That demo is even harder than the one that was in the resort chapter because I am falling. So I have like no set position in which to do that demo. I have no setup. I don't necessarily do it out of nowhere, but I have like a slight visual cue. So now we're in a Battlein fight. I am going to give Battlein the biggest hug she's ever had in her life. This strat is called Feather Skip. And I skipped the feather that was on the bottom of that screen. It saves a second if you get it correctly, but it's so hard. Oh no! I kicked off the wall a bit too early there. You want to fall to that dash crystal and get to the bumper. All right, and we're in the final checkpoint of Reflection, called Reprieve. The intended strat there is to take the Kevin block all the way to the right, but you can just wait until your dash, the dash crystals refresh. I'm not going to explain that strat. It's too complicated. Just know that I went really fast. But you can see here, I'm holding right off of that bumper, and I get a bigger speed boost than when I hit a bumper from the left. And here, you can just go under that block to skip all of those little touch switches, which would move it. Uh-oh. That's, This room is terrifying. Okay. This is the last battling room in this chapter. Hopefully, I get one last good bumper boost to go around. Hit this one, hit that one. All right, good game. Good try, battling. And one more demo for swag. No! Okay, I messed it up.
It's all good.
Sad. There's a good backup here, though, if you don't get it. I went just a bit too early, but you can go just over that cassette block. And because there's just enough frames that you go across that block, your dash will refresh and you can dash into the heart. Now we're on the summit. We're climbing the rest of the mountain. This is the love letter to the rest of the game. You are going to go through a section that has the mechanics of every single level before it. Starting in Reflection. It's not going to look like it too much, but the color palette is the same. And this is the longest section of the chapter by a lot. This usually goes about seven. I don't even want to say 7. It's about 8 minutes long. 9 at not top level. Here you're gonna see me do some very quick cutscene skips. I never really talked about those today. You can bind in 1.4 anything to just about anything in this game. So I have one button set to pause. That is my triangle, as we noticed when I accidentally paused in Resort. And my left trigger is not just my fastball button, but it's my down and confirm button for menuing. So if I really want to skip cutscenes fast, I hit my pause button and then down confirm, which will cause the menu to go down 1 to skip cutscene and then confirm skipping the cutscene. And it makes these, it skips all of these animations and skips so much time over time. All right, so here you're gonna see me do what are called dream hypers. I mentioned earlier that hyper dashes are downright dash jumps. There is a leniency period outside of dream blocks where the game thinks that you're on safe ground, and that existed to make dream jumps easier. But a byproduct of that is you can do hyper dashes and super dashes in that frame as well. So by holding down right and then dash and jump, I do these fun little hyper dashes that give me a boost of speed. You can also do like ultras, kind of, and other fun tech out of it, but all right, I have, I think, one more fun demo here, and that's that one right there. I actually don't know what the frame window for that strat is, but it saves a non-insignificant amount of time. Same as in the Resort chapter, if I were to die in any of these rooms, the death cycles would be different. Fun fact, that's a dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you like kind of play this game casually, you won't realize it, but that's a creature with 4 legs and it looks like a dog. We actually call it the Franker Z room.
Aw.
Right? All right, 2,000 meters. This is a fun one. We're going to be skipping an auto scroller entirely in the next couple of rooms. First, I'm going to collect this berry, which should be my 3rd. Yes. And here I'm going to go and do some really fast ultras. I cannot explain ultras at this speed. Just know that they're extremely fast wave dashes. And here I'm going to land here, demo here. And that very first auto scroller is unnecessary. And it saves so much time overtaking it. We call it auto scroller skip. Because there is an auto scroller skip, but that skips the auto scroller skip.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. There's like a lot of fun things that I just cannot explain at this speed, but it's such a fun game. This game has so many great mechanics. Just it feels great to play. It's so good. It's so good. I accidentally fell into speedrunning this game, and I hold no regrets.
Can you tell us a little bit about that story? Like what got you into this run specifically?
Yeah, I had a friend who started playing it before I ever did and was just like, hey, you might like this game.
Maybe.
Maybe. And I did once I finally had the time to actually do it. And just the game felt so fun with the with dashing and all the mechanics that I was already into speedrunning in the past. But I played this game and the first thing that came through my brain was, what if I tried to do that again but faster? Because my first playthrough was like 7 hours.
Of course.
And I always say that I accidentally fell into this game. I accidentally speedran this game. Then I just started getting good pretty fast, and I haven't stopped since. I have like 3,600 hours in this game.
Oh my goodness, that's so many hours.
It's so many hours, and I have no plans to stop anytime soon.
No plans to stop and no regrets, I'm sure.
None. It has made me meet so many wonderful people in the community. I've made so many friends, and we've gotten to know the developers better, and the developers are amazing people. So.
Oh, that's excellent, actually. Love it when the devs stop by and put in their input.
I mean, they actually asked a lot of the speedrunning community on the new 1.4 patch for advice with regards to some things. Like, we actually gave advice on a lot of the things that were in the new patch.
That's awesome.
To make things a bit more lenient while also maintaining, like, quality of life. Yeah, Extremely OK Games is a very, very good group of people. So this is downdraft. Much like in Wind, we have Wind moving us down, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Wind doesn't slow down your dash speed, so I just kind of do my thing. You are going to see magic, though, right about here. That is an actual spike jump. That is me actually jumping on spikes. There's a lot of complicated ways in which the game checks for like collision that make that work. But it's magic. We'll just say that. I see chat is counting, and I'm laughing because I'm going to be skipping so many flags over the course of this. But yeah, so this is updraft. So it's the opposite now. The wind is making us nice and floaty. The problem is that updraft is slow, so I'm going to need to use my fastfall in a lot of this spots. That was not great, but it's fine. Like right here, I'm going to fastfall a little bit to hit this button, and then another one to hit that touch switch. We will see if I get flag 10 or not. It is a flip of the coin on that one. I did not. Hopefully that will not bite me. It did not. Okay, good. in storyline, Madeline and Madeline are working together to make it to the top of the mountain after Madeline being very hesitant to help you at all. It's a very wonderful story. Celeste is actually not just a really great speedrun, but just a really great game. Ah! I bonked. Dad, I'm gonna need your best bonk emotes for that. All right. And we are coming up to the last 2 flags. I might skip one of them accidentally. We'll see. Yep. Skipping flag 2 is dangerous, but that hyper bunny hop is fast. But it's okay because I got flag 1. Okay, that's fine. All right, time will be coming up when I hit this cutscene. Time.
Ooh, GG. I'll be
Thank
honest,
you.
I was holding my breath for a lot of that because
So was
you were
I,
going
actually.
so fast. Gosh, amazing run. You did so well. Do you have any shout outs or anything that you'd like to give, Carrie?
Oh God, where do I start? These people, for starters: Maddie, Noel, Amora, Pedro, Lena, Kevin, just all the people that went about to put this game together. Just thanks for being great people. Thanks to Frozen, who couldn't be here, but is the best friend that I've made since starting stream, and just my partner in crime with Celeste. Just the Celeste community in general. My good friend Nickel Chris, who we kind of like became best buds through all of this. And yeah, just shout out to my girlfriend. I named my file name after my girlfriend because I love her. She's currently eating dinner without me, but it'll be okay.
Get to see her very soon.
Oh, we'll be there very soon. And yeah, just the entire, I really can't say any more than just the entire community for like welcoming me and helping me and just being a phenomenal group of people to chat about Celeste with. And thanks to GDQ for having me, and thanks to you for being my partner in crime. And God, I could thank everybody. I could thank everybody. I'm always so humble.
Well, I'm going to thank you for showing off this amazing speedrun. You got so many compliments from the chat on your impressive Celeste skills. We're very proud of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
But if you all stick around, we are going to be right back with Kirby Superstars. So don't go away.